Do you believe in magic? Yes, y'all, I'm going to start singing over here because the truth of it is, I do believe in magic. And I think that we get to decide where magic comes from, how we create magic. But sometimes the key to retention, the key to enrollment is actually creating magical experiences for your studio families, for the students, for your staff. Do not forget about your staff, my friends, because when we create magical experiences, it's like sprinkling pixie dust all around our studio, and everyone is flying and just singing your praises. And so that's what we're going to dive in and talk about today because it's totally true. If we take and create magical experiences, our retention increases, our enrollment increases, and you create raving fans that go and sing your praises out there to the world and talk about it and increase that whole word of mouth sort of thing, which we all know is like the best, right? So in today's episode, we're going to dive in creating raving fans through magical experiences. Now, if you're joining me, say, hey, Erin, what's up? Let me know that you're here. I always want to know who's with me when I come on live every single Wednesday. And if you happen to come back in on the replay, we want to know that as well. So just drop a little hashtag replay. Let us know that you're coming back in. And, here's the deal, my friends. We love to learn out loud around here. And so what does learning out loud mean? Well, obviously it's kind of hard to like say, Erin, that was so great. But you could do it by typing it in the comments for us. Let us know if you have an aha, a nugget, or something just totally resonates with you. Not only does it help you like anchor in that idea, but for those friends who have to come back in the replay and they see a little hashtag nugget, they're going to lean in a little bit closer because they know that, ooh, that was good. That was really good. So if you have that moment, if you have an aha, if you have a little takeaway, if you agree with something, or that moment of, I know that, but I haven't been doing it like I should, right? We all have that too. Then let us know. We want to know, right? And of course, if you would love a copy of today's show notes, drop the word show notes below, and we will absolutely get those to you. Now, if you stumbled upon this somehow, which does happen because we are streaming all over the place right now, my friends, I'm Erin Bird. I'm your hostess with the mostest, and I support dance studio owners and educators to really grow their businesses by creating their own unique vision of success. And all without burning out, overwhelm, sacrificing your personal lives, because y'all, we need to have boundaries. And that is what we're here to do. We're here to make sure that you really create a business and a life of your dreams that brings you joy and not the, good Lord, these parents are giving me a headache, or what was I thinking with my life, right, y'all? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and dive right in. I am going to actually go ahead and bring in my friend today. I'm going to let her introduce herself because I have to tell you, we actually met at a studio industry conference because y'all know I love the props. I love the props. And because, you know, life is better when you have props. What do I even have around me right now? I have my hand clappers. I've got my banana phone ready, right? Like y'all know I love the props, right? And so, hello, banana phone. Okay, so going back. Okay, so I had brought some of these like horse boppers to Vegas with me, and I had to have some horse races down the casino hall. And everyone became involved, and it was so much fun, and it's so good. But after we met, I was like, oh my gosh, we have to have you on our show because we both love the Disney. We both love having fun and finding the joy. So it's going to be so good. All right, I'm going to try to zip my lip, and I'm going to see. Let me see if I can multitask here. I want to bring her in, and let's see if it works for me today.
Oh,
You have the props too.
I have the props always. Always got the props. Of course, Erin.
Oh my
That's why
gosh.
we're kindred spirits. That's why we're
I
kindred spirits.
I'm telling you what, like I could start to pull out all the things over here on my desk, and it's probably I
Should we have a
know.
prop off? A prop off? I don't know if I can get to all of my props. There's a hula hoop over there, cowboy
Right.
hat over there. I've got it all over my office.
Okay, I think one day this is a whole idea.
Yeah,
What if you guys? I know this is probably not what you were expecting, but
little
hey,
off topic.
little off topic, but y'all know, follow along. I think wouldn't it be a fun reel or something if you and I figure out how to do like we took videos and did a prop off?
I I need this to happen in my life. I need a prop off. The amount of props I have in my office is a little insane.
Okay, me and you were going to chat about it because I
I love
think that
it.
would be amazing. You guys, let us know in the comments below. Would you love to see a fun prop off?
I love
I
it.
want to know. Would you like be totally interested to see what kind of craziness a prop off would? Okay, hold on. I have to show this because I agree. A prop off would be epic.
Epic.
Epic. All right. So I'm going to try to just zip my lip real quick. I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself. And then we are going to dive into this topic about creating raving fans through magical experiences.
Love it. I love it. Well, I'm Jennilee Barr. I'm the artistic director of Dance the Magic. I'm super excited to be here. So, what Dance the Magic does is we bring dancers from all over the world to spectacular venues like the Disney parks from coast to coast, as well as Disney on Broadway, the Grand Ole Opry House in Nashville, and the Universal Orlando Resort.
Oh my gosh. Okay, can I tell you that when you listed off, I literally got goosebumps. And here is why. I know, I love it. Because I think for so many, we were having a conversation before this, you guys, a little bit about accessibility and equity and things of that nature in the arts. And what I love about Dance to Magic is really looking at how do we try to remove some of these boundaries and give students the opportunity to not only live like their dream,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then it's actually giving them early exposure to what their life could be like in a career in dance in the arts,
This
which
is exactly it.
I think is absolutely magical because I think for so many students, like they love dance. It might be, they love it. It might be a hobby or not even a hobby. It might be a little bit more. But unless they actually get that moment,
Mm-hmm.
it could also feel like this kind of pipe dream.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what it does is it kind of strips that away a little bit and says, no, like if this is what you love and you want, here's the sampler. And then it could be that catalyst that kicks them forward to really say, oh no, I really want this. Like I got the taste because there's something different, and don't get me wrong, but there's something different about performing on in your recital, on your stage, whatnot, than performing at Disney or performing on Broadway or having that moment because it could just flip that switch for them. And
Yeah,
so
we have such a variety of dancers when it comes to whether they're recreational, whether they're more competition based. And so when they all come together, it's such an interesting energy because realistically, on their separate scales, they have different goals, right? Whether some of them are wanting to go professional, some of them, this is just a hobby. But when we come to the parks and we do our group rehearsal together, everybody's there for the same thing. We have the same goal. And so my number one goal is to make sure everyone feels proud and positive. And whether this is you do dance once a week or you do dance every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, that you are accomplished and this is something that makes you just feel good. That's our number one goal for sure.
yes, I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. Because, okay, I have this conversation quite often with my clients that I work with is that our job is really to create experiences. And an experience, while it could be singular or one off, or it could be a regular occurrence, right? But experiences are really the key to being successful. And whether you love Disney or not, I go back and I make the example of, think about it when you are like thinking about going to Disney. Well, number one, Disney in itself, they have a fully working marketing strategy happening. And it's from the apparel, right? It's from the apparel, it's from, the content that they're putting out, whether it's movies, TV shows, right? Like they're thinking of it from the whole big picture. And this is where I want you guys to understand that if we're only thinking about our recital as that's the experience, like we need to have a great recital experience, don't get me wrong. But our businesses are so much more than that. And if we can create an experience, not just a transaction, but an experience inside of our studio, then that is where our retention increases. That is where our enrollment actually increases. And so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this whole idea. Now, what do you feel like? There's so many ways to go with this because I'm like, there's so many ways that I want to talk about this. Okay. So what do you feel like is for studio owners when they're thinking about this in a bigger aspect, about creating experiences in general?
Sure.
Right? What do you think is key for them to kind of think about and brainstorm before they jump in head first?
I have two thoughts. One, I don't know if we've ever actually spoken about this, but my mother was a dance studio owner for many, many, many years. And what you're describing right now of creating the experiences is the reason Dance the Magic was created. It was the moment of I've done competitions with our dancers, but the feedback that my students and their parents keep giving me is like, oh, I loved when they performed for the Lakers. Oh, I loved when they performed out front of a Beach Boys concert, which I'm super jealous I wasn't at. But that's a side note. So I think that's one thing that is so amazing about experiences. It's not just about the dancer's education, which of course is very important. It really involves the families because realistically, the families have to be on board to support the dancer to really make sure they're doing that. And what a better place to do that than the Disney parks, Universal, Orlando, New York City, whatever your trip may be. What we love that we have done is we've created such awesome relationships with our dance studios that they trust in our product, they trust in our experience, that they actually kind of like rotate events with us. So if you don't want to do Disney every 2 years, every other year, that's fine. We have other experiences. And I think that's building those relationships and having that continuity. So like we have a lot of groups, again, they either alternate a Dance the Magic experience with competitions, or they have like certain events that they travel every 4 years or something like that, but they have a consistency so that their families can depend on that. So it's like, oh, in 2 years, that's our Disney trip. And I think that really does help kind of keep the stability of retention of your studio because the kids want to do those trips. The families want to do those experiences.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that for us, and I'm coming from the idea of, okay, I don't own a brick and mortar studio. So, my daughter, she dances for a studio that I'm friends with and their values align and, all that good stuff. And what I love is like, I walk into the lobby and they're like, oh my gosh, we get to do Disney this year. Right. And so they're so excited. And you could see it's almost like this whole idea of, I want you guys to think about music real quick. Can I give a little analogy here? Like, let's think about our music and like dynamic music. When you have a piece that you're choreographing your work for, what makes it great? It can't all be even notes across the board. We need the music to crescendo. We need music. We need ebb and flow, right? And so if we can create that music inside of our studio through experiences, right? It's like you could almost actually keep them on this high and riding the wave, right? Because you're like, okay, we're starting over here. we're building excitement. We're going to do this event. We're going to go to Disney. And oh my gosh, it's like amazing. And when they come back, they're still on the high because they're talking to their friends and to their family and to whatnot, right? And then maybe we go into it, we come down a little bit, but it's okay. We're letting them ride it out. They're riding the wave. And then it's a, guess what? Now I'm going to tell you what our recital theme is or whatever. And we're then picking them back up into the excitement of recital or into the excitement of nationals or into the excitement of, oh my gosh, we created this my special person in me dance, whatever it is. Like we should be looking at these and how do we create this beautiful piece of music, right? This beautiful choreography inside our studios when it comes to creating raving fans. And we create raving fans through these experiences. You know, now I am not a hater. Well, not a full-fledged I am not a hater. I mean, I think competitions are valuable. Don't get me wrong. I think that a lot of studios like them. But what I also know is, y'all, let me know in the comments below. If you are a competition studio, do you love everything about competition season? Do you like lay in bed and be like, oh, the joy of comp season? Like every moment of it just makes me feel so good. I want to know. Let me know. Because I mean, I'm in all the Facebook groups. Like, let's be real, I'm in all of them. And now that it was a hard no. There's some nopes in there. Okay. So here's the deal. Now, I'm not saying move away from competition completely, but if the stress, overwhelm, anxiety is more than the payout, right? What are we doing with our lives when when we have other opportunities out there, right? So I always, you know, I've had some of my studio owners that I work with who have gone from comp teams to performing groups, right? Which was scary, but they loved it, right? And so now I'm going to ask you, and I know you feel the same way. There's value in competition. Like, so I know you're not a comp hater, but what do you feel like is the difference for families when it comes to comp, being on a comp team or being on a performing team or having the opportunity for performances versus just competitions?
I'm going to kind of go to my experience as being a competition kid. So I grew up competing as well. I was more in the all-star realm. So I competed at the first dance worlds ever for USASF. I might have a ring or four, just saying. So I was a very, very competitive, and I'm just a very competitive person in general. But I think for competition's sake, there is like a bit of camaraderie of like, we're all in this together. All in this. Anyways, little High School Musical moment. I think for the family, I mean, it was so awesome to have my brother and my mom fly out to Florida and to cheer me on. And when the moment that they announced our title win, it was like, oh, here, this is amazing. And again, like I'm so competitive with myself too. So I strive every single time I'm in rehearsal. I wanted to be the best person in the room. Now, I wasn't the most flexible. I was thicker on the team. I wasn't the star of the show. I was the one holding the girl up, but I was a part of the team. And so that really, actually, I think attested to my dedication to me as a performer, because it really pushed me like I have to be on my top game at all times. Now, from a performer's perspective and like a performance opportunity perspective, I think there's so much more room for humanity a little bit, in the sense of, like I mentioned, we have dancers who are more recreational. They do dance maybe once a week. And then we have dancers who are competition dancers who that's their life goal, is to win, And so giving dancers the space to be a character, to be silly. Like this season, we're doing Under the Sea. So we're kind of be a jellyfish, you know, be a little mermaid vibes and stuff like that. Last year we did Hercules. And so it was how to be a hero and really kind of diving into these characters that you don't really get to do in competition. You really don't get to explore the showmanship. I feel like it's like, you know, the goal is to win, which in certain cases that makes sense. And I attest so much of my dance career to my competition days. But there's something so magical when you see a dancer just blossom because they got permission to be silly. They got permission to like try something new. And it's so funny watching the transition from the first time the dancers do the routine to the last time they do the routine in rehearsal. It's truly magical because there's this shift of this is safe. I'm no matter how good I am, I'm having fun and I'm doing the best I can. So I think that's something that's so special that actually parents come up to me after the events too, because I'm actually the girl from the parade video. So I'm on repeat in their homes. So they'll see me on the parade route and be like, you're the girl from the video. Oh my gosh, my daughter loves you. And they're like just so appreciative that their daughter or son feels just seen, you know? And so that would be my main difference, is that this is an opportunity for every person to be seen.
Absolutely. I love it. One of the comments that came in was, I believe in a healthy balance maintaining comp and non-comp programs because it's not the end all be all. And I 100% agree with you in that there's something to be said about having a healthy balance and really looking at, I think, the humanity side of it, because I think as studio owners, most of us believe deeply that, you know, the arts in general, whether it's dance, music, theater, you know, painting, whatever, that it's transformative in that it can absolutely change someone's life, right? Whether they're the ones who are doing it or they're the audience who is soaking it in. And I think that where there's so many opportunities for performances that really give back and create impact to our audiences in a way that doesn't necessarily happen in a competition setting. Now, I'm not saying at comp you might not be sitting there and you watch something like, oh my gosh, that was absolutely amazing, and it, like, I got the feels, right? But the audience members, it's a very narrow audience. What I mean by that, right? So it's like people who are already in that world, who are watching their kids, who are there for that particular purpose. Where if we look at it from a performance opportunity, be it in a theme park, be it in a nursing home, be it in your city festival, your reach in your audience, you're actually, I feel like, have the opportunity to have more of a profound impact on our community and our audiences that may not have had that opportunity in a competition setting.
100%.
And I think that that's a really great experience for our young dancers and artists who we want that to be a layer of it, right? And again, like you said, I'm super competitive too. With myself, probably more than other people, I don't know. But
well, we had the horses. That I think we got that from our bouncy horses.
I mean, who doesn't want to take bets and have horse races in Vegas? Saying it's all. But really, my friends, like, but I want us to go back to the idea of, like, you know, what we do has impact. There is purpose aside from, you know, the beautiful movement or the beautiful pieces that we put out there, that there is purpose. And if you get to dance down Main Street at Disneyland and there's even a little girl or a little boy in their prince or princess outfit or whatever, and they're like, oh, I want to do that. Like, that's a huge moment, not only for the performer, the families who are there watching it and experience it. And like, there's nothing better than seeing that or hearing that, like, because of you or because of your child, they've inspired somebody else to do something.
And on top of that, what I'd like to share with the kids is they get to actually see joy being created. Because if they make eye contact and they like do a move to the audience members and they make eye contact with that little boy, little girl, and they see that, you get to see that joy. That was you. And they kind of get, I did that. And it's like, yes, you did that. And it's just kind of like this, like, again, we're adding to that confidence level of just spreading good in the world and just giving that love and just sharing your joy. I say that all the time in my rehearsals. Share your joy, make that eye contact, make sure we're really just giving everything out. Because there's so many times, I don't know about you, but I see dancers always looking down and they're in their zone and they're feeling themselves. They might be like doing, their dance like spectacularly well, like technically, but their performance is into themselves. And so my main goal is to get it out. Share that magic, make that eye contact, and just give it out to the world, because that's what the arts are for, sharing.
Exactly. Love it. Okay. So, yes, and I agree with you. I have a whole thing about like when I train, even my teachers. It's interesting when I hire on staff and I'm training them, how so many times it's like this down where I'm like, no, no, no. Our job is to connect. Yep. Like, connect, use what your mama gave you, what the Lord gave you. I don't know, whatever you want to say, but use what they gave you. Yep. Because that is how we connect. You can't connect looking at their feet.
Yeah. And I must say, I'm actually a really shy person and I'm such an introvert. So it's such a challenge. It's challenging for me sometimes to make that eye connection and to like make those moments. But it is so important to like have that connection. So just like putting yourself out there a little bit. I just wanted to caveat that because I could see my mom going, no, your head was always down when you were a kid. And I was very shy.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, it is a skill set that also is really going to serve you well in the long term, right? To do that. But I always my teachers probably think I am batshit crazy, probably, is honestly, if I'm being honest. But we go through when they're onboarding and we do a whole like workshop on using this, your eyes, your mouth, your voice, your body, and not caring what you look like.
Yep.
Because the truth is, especially, obviously when we're working with tiny tots, preschoolers, kindergartners, right? Like, what do they want? They want someone to be silly and have fun, and they want to learn still. But so use what's given to you. But if you're only focused on their feet, they're not going to have fun. Yeah. And we want to retain them for the long haul. Retention's key. Okay. So love it. Oh, thank you. Okay. Comment.
Oh,
this
yay.
is a great show today. Loving the conversation. That makes me so happy. I wish. Okay. Again, props. You want to talk about props real quick? So now I'm going to grab it. Have you gotten one of these?
No. What is that?
Oh my gosh. Do you remember the Office Depot, like, what was it?
Oh, like the button and then
it's like so easy or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's a button.
Okay.
It's 30-second dance party.
Oh, I love this.
Okay. So you could buy these. I use them at like my retreats and my workshops because, yes, the easy button. Okay. So when people start to get a little whatever. I got that I'm the prop queen. We will see in this prop off, my friends. We will see. But so there is this, it doesn't come off well through the screen. I've tried before. But it has different like rhythm songs and I make people stop when I start to see them drop. And it's a 30-second dance party. Okay. So yes, I love it. You might get one. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I'm really excited.
I might give you one. So they're so fun. Anywho, okay. So, but it goes 30-second dance party.
I need that for our office here because I will say we're a fun office, but that would just like take it to the next level.
I'm telling you what, like even my kids sometimes when I'm like, they even know now, they'll come and grab it out of the office and they're like, Mom, I know you gave us a long list of chores. So when we start falling down and you can tell, like hit it and we'll stop and we'll have a dance party. Y'all, 30-second dance party. Okay. So anyway. some of it's kind of like clubby, like
I love that there's
whatever.
variations.
Yes,
Like and you don't know what it's going to be,
you don't.
right?
It's random.
Oh my gosh. I need this in my
So,
life.
okay, so for everyone, you could also use these in your classroom. Just saying. I should get like an affiliate link for these things. No, but anyway,
You should.
like I should. Anywho, okay. Yes, you need a 30-second dance party in your life. Oh, sure. Okay, so I know this conversation, like, we're all over the place, but it's fun to
But
dance.
that's who we are,
That's
Erin.
who
We
we
are.
are, and it's fun. And the big thing here is I wanted to talk about it's life, right? Okay. So what I want to say, kind of, not, I don't want to take everyone's time here because I know with so many events that dance will only be an activity for the rich. Okay. So there was a comment that came in. I worry with so many events that dance will only be an activity for the rich. Now, I mean, let's be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. We actually had this conversation right before we
Yeah.
jumped on here, because some of you might know that I'm a. I mean, if you ask people who like are in my life on a day-to-day basis, they know how much of a wackadoodle I am. Like I don't hide it. I know. And I know that I probably, going back to that competition piece, that I am always striving for like everything that I do to be the best, number one. Not necessarily the best in the world, but the best for me, like to my personal best. But to your point, I we have our mobile preschool program, which was great. And, and we serve, oh my gosh, thousands of kids every single week. So it's crazy. And then we started, the coaching and consulting because after my father passed away and we had a conversation, he was like, hey, how do you make a bigger impact in the world when we were in the hospital? And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, duh, you have to educate the educators. He literally, yeah.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, dad, whatever. Well, okay, so it hit home. So thank you, Daddy. And then as the pandemic happened, I believe we need to take care of ourselves, you guys. So I wrote the Passion and Profit Project. I wrote that book because I truly believe that not only we can have passion for what we do, but it doesn't mean we don't have to make money from it, right? Like we need to be able to take care of ourselves, to take care of our families. You can't do more when you're poor. Okay, so I mean, let's be honest. I can do more when I make money, right? I could do more for charities that I live. I could do more for my family. I could do more for our students. I could do more for our community if we are making a living. So, y'all, I believe in that wholeheartedly. And so, over the course of the pandemic, I just had these thoughts and things were pulling on my heartstrings. And I've thought about it for a while, but again, you know, running a business, being a mama, having a second business, and then like all the things in life, it's a little much to juggle. But it really on my heart was like, oh, I would really love to start a nonprofit so we can make sure that there's equity in dance, that, no matter your race, color, creed, income level, like that there's access and education. And so that is something we launched, Arts Enrichment for All, y'all. And it has been, I'm not here to tell you that, oh, it was so easy. No, there's a learning curve, right? There's a learning curve. And not, oh my gosh, I love it. She says she's going to put it on a sticky note on her desk. You can't do more when you're poor. Love it. Okay. But what I will tell you, sorry, I know this might be a little shameless plug right now, but I want you guys to know that I've had a lot of questions coming in with my clients about nonprofits, because nonprofits don't mean you don't make money. There are, and nonprofit, so we're going to have a whole conversation in our masterclass at the end of the month in our Empire Builders Club about nonprofits that profit. And basically, how do you create a nonprofit that allows you to give back, allows you to make money? You're not doing it we're doing it because we want to give back and make impact, but you're allowed to live and make a wage. And the executive director or the CEO of Susan G. Komen Habitat for Humanity. They don't do it and not take home a paycheck. Okay, so we are going to have a whole masterclass on that. If you guys want to be part of our Empire Builders Club, so you can get in on that training, drop the word Empire below and I'll reach out to you. So we can talk more about that because we're going to dive into it. But I know. I'm like, where did I even come from with the comment? I'm like, I totally went on this tangent.
That's all good.
And I don't know how to rein it back in. Okay. Okay. Yes, I'm so glad that you're looking forward to that Empire Builders Club class. Okay. Yes, it's going to be so good. And my team member, Samara, she's the one who helped us with all of that. She's going to come on and share. So it's going to be so fantastic. Okay. So I don't want to take too much time because we've gone a little bit over, but I want to, if you could leave our community with one little nugget, tip, thought about the correlation between retention and enrollment and experiences, what would it be?
I think overall would be consistency and just kind of building your calendar to have something that they, like Aaron was saying earlier, they get to look forward to, and finding those experiences that really sync with your dance families, because that's really who you're trying to impress is the dance families. Of course, we want our dancers to have the best time ever, but a happy parent is a happy director, which is a happy life. So if we can find experiences where the families are having a good time, like we started adding actually in park parties that are offered to the families too. So it's a private party inside the park. They get attractions on their own with our whole Dance the Magic group. Right. And so it's kind of a fun way that the families get to be included and the families get to be feeling VIP too. So I would really kind of think about those things and having always something to look forward to.
I agree with you. And I think it comes back to being proactive planners.
Yeah.
Which is all, and I'm going to say this right now with all the love, but a little sass. Y'all need to be planning for your next season right now. And I know everyone feels up to their ears in competitions and costumes and summer schedule and all of that. And I know right now, this time of year can feel a little, that being said, we have to be smart enough to have the foresight to look at the future, because what we do right now dictates what type of season we have next year, this summer, next season, right? It really does. And so if you're stressing about it, if you need a little help, like, let me know. But if you're thinking about having an experience next season, like going to Dance the Magic or doing Disneyland or whatever it is, y'all should really have a chat with her now, because I'm guessing your calendar, it's already filling up.
Well, I will tell you, I was just thinking about this as you were saying this, because I think for the past 2 years, the world has been playing catch up, because it's almost like a rubber band. We pulled it back so far and boom, like all of a sudden we're like catch up. So I feel like we're finally at a place where we are forward thinking, that we've been settled down and we kind of are now to that point. So we are looking at releasing our 2024 information in the next 2 months ish. So something to be on the forward thinking if you're planning on doing any Disney trips. I will say our events have sold out by the early bird for a couple of our events. We have over 700 dancers coming this summer. Woo! So it's super exciting. We're so happy to have everyone. And I want to make sure you guys don't miss out, because it's the most magical experiences ever.
Absolutely. And so y'all, something we do if you're part of our groups is we do a quarterly planning session, but then also a yearly planning session. I can't talk. Session. And so we actually, in the next couple weeks, we're going to be doing our next quarterly planning session, but it's one of those things that I drop in. Okay. Also, you guys, going back to the whole idea of experiences, parents who feel like they are informed and feel like they know what to expect throughout the whole year early on are happy
Mhm.
They're not giving you a headache, asking you a million times, when are you going to release? When are we going to find out about? When are we going to, like, you guys, if you don't plan your shiz early on, you are the one causing your own headache. You can't blame the parents. It's you.
Well, and uh, if I can have a little on that as someone, so for our company, we actually do not have association with parents. We have like, I mean, couple things here and here, but like we don't release information, we don't release pricing. Everything goes through the studio director. So when the studio directors are on top of their planning and really ahead of the game, and we don't get barely any parent calls. It's the ones that are not that are kind of doing it a little behind the ball, that's when we get the influx of parents calls, which kind of makes it an uncomfortable situation in the sense of we never want we want to make sure we support our studios, but we don't want Dance the Magic to look bad if they're not getting the proper information too. So always having that
I mean, you don't
insight.
want to be the fall guy?
I mean, I try to be as proactive as possible.
And you guys, I can tell you, and I know I'm not the only mama out there, I am a planner. Like, I know at the beginning of the school year what my kids are doing throughout, for the most part, throughout the year. For summer break, we have our trips planned. Like, I have to do that because I'm, like I said, a wackadoodle. I've got 3 companies that I'm running, right? And then so I have to know these sort of things. I have to have the information. And if you're behind the ball because you're like, oh, as soon as I get through, and then you get through and you're like, oh, I better release that. Parents, they feel a little like upset because you've waited. And then they're like, feel like they're scrambling and, oh, how are we going to fit this into our schedule? Or now I got to drop this, or oh my gosh, I didn't know I needed to ask for time off of work for this, or that sort of thing, right, guys? So know that.
And
So I
also with
agree.
the planning, I know we keep going over and over,
I
but one
can't
thing
help
that we
myself sometimes.
sorry.
Yeah.
I one thing that we started doing, because we recognize studio directors are running their business, they also have their own families, they might have other side projects. They don't have a lot of time to dedicate to necessarily planning the full trip. So
Mhm.
what we've started doing is we created custom marketing materials. So we'll have the branding of our studios with all of our information, so you don't need to start from scratch. So if we get that to us, if you get your like logo and your information to us early, we can create that to you. So that's one thing checked off the list, because we have all the information that they wouldn't need to do. So
Yep.
that's something we're every single event we are trying to learn from and get feedback from our studios. How can we make it easier for you, because we recognize y'all are busy too, and we want to make sure that this is a great experience for you as well.
Absolutely. Okay, so I am going to be in 100% agreement. I think that, and sometimes, as owners, business owners, whatever, we tell ourselves, okay, it's on my list, but it's going to take so long to do. So I'm just going to put it over here until I have more time. And then we know what happens
Mm-hmm.
there. So it kind of gets pushed off. So I love the fact, and this is one of the reasons I love Dance the Magic, is that you guys are really thinking about how do we make it as seamless, as easy as possible for our families, for our studio owners. So the experience is simply magical, really, honestly. And so, my friends, if this is something you've thought about, like as far as experiences, um, I think that it wouldn't hurt you to connect and just kind of see what opportunities are out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you without a doubt that I'm going to get on my soapbox one more time, real quick. It's going to be a short one, I promise. That while I'm a firm believer in systems, automating what you can, it is not in lieu of human connection. And those experiences trump all of the other things, because you're connecting, as your parents are connecting with other parents, the students are connecting with each other, the students are connecting with their friends' parents that maybe they don't get to spend a lot of time with on the regular, right? And it just becomes this like beautiful big family, that everybody's like having such a great time and seeing all the value of why they're paying so much, or right? Or they're investing their time or they're doing whatever. They get to actually have a different lens on when it comes to these experiences. And I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So, my friends, whew, I know we went a little long. Thank you for all of you who stuck it out. If you come back in on the replay, again, thank you. I know that we went a little bit long today. Sometimes when I have guests on, I just can't help myself. I try to keep it moving, but
Sorry.
I don't. No apologies, because, like we said, we've had so many people say this was a fun, informative conversation, and that's what I absolutely adore. My friends, thank you for sticking it out with us. We will come back in and put in how you can connect. I mean, how can they connect with you? And tell everyone how they can
Yeah.
connect with you, and then we'll come back in and put it in the chat too.
Yeah, so if we have I'll put it in the chat, but it's dancethemagic.com and you can fill out the form and one of our sales managers will reach out to you. We can set up a Zoom, kind of talk through all of our different experiences where you can really see what event works best for your studio.
I love it. I love it. Yes. And thank you, Christy. Oh, we had so much fun being able to share here with you and just thinking about the ideas of, I think so many times we just get so busy that we don't necessarily see some of the activities that we do or set our objective and our intention for retention and enrollment based upon the activities that we are doing inside of our studio. Um, Sometimes we do these things, but we don't actually connect it to our objective, or we don't actually connect it to what's the intention behind doing this? Why are we doing this? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you and your staff can approach things from like, hey, this is actually a retention activity for us,
Mm-hmm.
we can connect the dots for our staff, and then they're like, oh, that totally makes sense, and then they're like, they can help build the excitement and the why behind it because they understand it. Sometimes that piece gets forgotten. And really, my friends, experiences, and when I say experiences, it is a blanket. Yes, we could talk about things like Dance the Magic as an experience, but I'm talking about the why and the experience, the end user experience across the board. And if we use that as our starting off point whenever we're doing anything, what's our intention? What's our objective? And how is this in alignment with the experience that we want to create in our studio? You will have success. If you come at things just willy-nilly, like, oh, I think we should do this because so and so did it, or I think that, this would be fun, but you're not tying it to your intention, you're not tying it to the end objective and result and vision, then that's where there's gaps and there becomes a miss, and it doesn't always make sense across the board. So I hope that you guys enjoyed our conversation today. Let us know if you want more information about that masterclass coming up on the Empire Builders Club about nonprofits that profit. Also, if you want a copy of today's show notes, or if you want me to connect you with Dance the Magic, we're going to put those in here as well. Thank you so, so much for coming on and
Thanks,
joining us.
Erin.
We have had, oh, yeah, I am looking forward to the prop off too, because I mean, I don't know about you. I actually we pay for an entire storage unit that
Oh,
we have dedicated to props.
I'm not quite there yet. If I will say, I feel like my props are more handheld, so I don't need a
Okay.
full blown storage unit yet. But my office is very full with a lot of things.
Okay. So, I mean, obviously, because we're going out to the centers and the schools and everything on a
Yeah.
daily basis. And then obviously we have to have multiple sets of things for all of our staff. So, I mean, I get it, right? But yes, I am always on the lookout. It's also like I'm competitive about it. I'm like, I'm going to see what props I can find. And I will even challenge my teachers, who's going to find the best props at this, like wherever you go this
Oh,
week.
I
We
love
challenge each
that.
other. Like it's fun. So, anywho, I am looking forward to the prop off as well. All right, my friends, we're going to leave you there. I hope that you join me next week for another episode of the Erin Bird Live Show, where we talk about business strategy, mindset, tips, and tricks, really, and talk about joy, leaning into the joy, because if we're not finding joy every single day, what the heck are we doing in our businesses? So I'm going to leave you there. I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye, friends.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good week.